Thanks for the support as a channel member, Chris Graves. Yeah, I completely agree. On paper, Juventus seems like really tough competition. But then when you remember, we've played him 3 times before, twice in the Europa League, once in the Club World Cup. And we currently have a record of beating them 2 out of the 3 times we've played them. Yes, they knocked us out, but we beat them at home. We beat them in the Club World Cup, also kind of at home. First leg's at home. Let's see what we can do and take it from there. Hello and welcome to part 74 of the Greek Odyssey. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of our Champions League first knockout round game against Juventus. Since you were last with me, so much has happened. We've played so very much football. We haven't lost any games in that time. We are still in the Greek Cup. We are well clear at the top of the Super League, to the point where it's utterly ridiculous, really. What's that? A 26-point lead, and we've not even split into the 2 groups yet. We're actually in a position where we're not. The most we could be is 29 points clear before we split, and then there's 30 points available after the split. But we could have the title wrapped up before the second leg of this Juventus game if we get another Super League game slotted in there. It's a big if. I don't actually know. But we could potentially win the title today as well. I'm not even going to bother showing you it happen, because you know it's going to happen. Complete foregone conclusion that it's going to happen. Transfers-wise, it was actually quite a quiet January for us. We had a couple of players come in who were already due to be coming. Spencer Arabo is an 18-year-old Mexican goalkeeper. I just needed to bring a Mexican in so I could remind you that my new series starts on the channel later today, 4 o'clock. El Director Deportivo. I'm in Mexico, managing Chivas, who we didn't sign this guy from because they didn't have any high potential players. But, you know, we just spent £3.7 million of Mrs Wearmouth's money so that I could plug a video that's coming out on this channel later on today. Just don't tell her. She'll love that. And also Duvan Hernandez has come in as well. He cost us £2.2 million, has immediately gone out on loan to Udinese, where he's playing Serie A football. So that's the kind of level we're at now. 5-star potential player, and we can just loan them straight out if they don't fit into our squad. Players leaving the club, it has pretty much just been lots of that, or forget pretty much, it has just been that. Players going out on loan for game time. So Hernandez went to Udinese. Pedro Fernandez, who's our young right winger, has gone out on loan to Girona. So he's going to be playing regular La Liga football for the rest of the season. Alfredo Sarti has gone out on loan to Offi, and he's going to be playing in our league for the rest of the season. And then several of the Greek youngsters have gone out to lower league teams around and about us as well. So quite a quiet window for us. We still have a little bit of money left to spend. The projection not looking as pretty as it once did, even though it's not like I'm spending loads of money. There's no transfer debt, but we are spending £1 million a week on wages, which is a lot for a club who play at a 15,000 capacity stadium. We move into the new ground this summer, and it's not a moment too soon as far as the finances are concerned. I think we're kind of in a position where we might have to sell a big money player in the summer and maybe not immediately replace them. We're only on a 30% retained revenue now. We actually turned down a £60 million offer from Manchester City, Paul Duffy, who we only signed for £40 million the summer before. That was a tricky one to turn down. We also had a £50 million plus offer for Sanchez, which I turned down with this Juventus game in mind. If we'd have been knocked out of the Champions League, I think that might be my policy. If we're out of the Champions League by January, we're happy to sell and rebuild then. If we're still in the Champions League like we are now, if we can afford to, we keep these players. But if we get knocked out today and this continues to go south, we might find ourselves needing to sell one or both of those two in the summer. Maybe Cordoba, who's still got Bayern Munich and Dortmund both chasing him. There's lots of interest for lots of our players, but for now, we're trying to keep them together, and we're trying to have as much of a run in the Champions League as we possibly can. So this is the team for the first leg against Juventus. We've got Osman in goal, a back four of Kansarevic, Michaelis, Lawson and Felipao, Milo at the base of the midfield, Duffy and Cordoba ahead of him, Sanchez and Marola supporting Carnevale up front, who is very much my first choice striker now, both in terms of star rating. He's gone up to 4 stars, whereas Acosta's dropped down to 3.5. And also goals. He's not quite scoring Damien level goals, but 13 goals from 17 starts for someone who was new to the league and is very young. It's a better first season record than Damien had. bear that in mind. Glauber Vinicius as well, slowly but surely is recovering from his injury. But because of the restriction to non-EU players, he's very unlikely to get any game time unless it comes in the Champions League. If he'd have been fit a little sooner, we'd have loaned him out. But he wasn't fit enough to loan out in January. So we've now got both Acosta and Vinicius, neither of which we can really fit into our team with only 5 non-EU players. Right. Go out there, carry on where you finished off in the last game. Juventus, remember, aren't necessarily the Juventus game we all know and love from reality. This is a Juventus team who are sort of consistently struggling to stay in the top 4 of Italian football. They're not an all-dominant, all-conquering Italian football team. And I think this is going to be yet another quite useful yardstick of where we are in our development. We know on our day we can beat any but the top 2 in the Bundesliga. Juventus are not in the top 2 in Serie A, but also Bundesliga isn't as high up the list as Serie A is now. So it'd be quite interesting to see how we weigh up against the 3rd or 4th best team in Italy. We know we've beaten them twice before, but we also know last time we played them in a knockout round, they outdid us in the away leg and we ended up getting knocked out by them. So it's interesting. Every game is interesting in this Champions League at the moment because being in the Greek league, it's very difficult to know where we stand in the rankings of European football. Carnevale's in here, of course. He is a young Italian striker, so Juventus might well look at him if he has a good game and think they can nick him off us and bring him back to Italy. Hopefully, I've got other ideas. We want to keep him around. He's an EU player who's actually quite good. We need more of them. But yeah, if we were in England or any other of the big 5, really, maybe France not so much if you're not Paris Saint-Germain, but the big 4, let's say the big 4 leagues, you kind of know if you're in the top 4 in them, you're probably good enough on your day to get to the quarterfinal of the Champions League. But with us, we have no idea. Sanchez scores his 20th goal of the season. This is how we get an idea. This is how we start to figure out where we stand, by winning games like this. And for Claudio Sanchez, I think 22 years old, might be 21 still. For his 20th goal of the season and to score against Juventus in the Champions League, especially when we've got other young players behind him in the queue. Let's just check how old he is. 21. I'm surprised he's not made his Argentina debut, and I'll be very surprised if he's still an Apollon player next year, because he just gets better and better all the time. And if he puts in a match-winning performance against a team like Juventus, he's basically buying his own plane ticket out of Greece to the top tier, one of the top tier clubs in Europe, following that path that's already been led by Bozic previously and by many more players to come, Sension, Bentancur. It's going to be a theme for a few years until we fully get ourselves sorted out with the finances, which hopefully comes with the new ground and regular late stages of the Champions League. Sanchez with the in-swinger couldn't find Cordoba, but he's there to get the ball moving back forwards again. Duffy tries to dink it over the top to Sanchez, and it very nearly got through. If it gets past that defender, there's nothing to stop Sanchez bearing down on goal. It was a bigger chance than it looked, and there is another goal. Is that offside? I think it is. Sanchez was the one who got onto the corner, flicked it over to Lawson. Weird. It probably should have been the other way round. I'm not quite sure why we're aiming at Sanchez here. I might need to double check the corner instructions, but Lawson was lurking at the far post. It's a decent finish from him, but he was offside because he's Ryan Lawson. He doesn't need to know the offside law from that perspective. He just needs to know how to catch people offside, not how to stay onside himself. 1-0, half-time, very happy. We did beat Juventus 1-0 at home last time we played them in the knockout round of, I think, was it last year's Europa League? We got Juventus at this stage of the Europa League. So we know they can turn things around relatively comfortably in the return fixture. Why are we playing a balanced mentality? We don't play balanced. I'm not sure why that's done that. I must have played a game on balanced at some point. We're normally, this must be past Kev fiddling for this game. We're normally at least positive, and we go attacking if we're struggling. We never play a game on balanced. How many games have I played on balance? We've been undefeated for ages. Maybe we do balance now. Maybe I made that decision at some point. It is a few days since I've played in this save because I've been setting up the new one. I'm now really confused. Right, Dominguez is going to come on for Duffy, and we're going to bring Acosta on for Carnevale, and that will do for now. I'm so baffled by that, though. I'm not going to do any team instructions. We're 1-0 up, and it's the worst. It's the worst scoreline for shouts for me. I've never done a good shout when I've been 1-0 up. I'm just going to leave them well alone. And for my final trick, I kind of want to get Vinicius up alongside Acosta for 10 minutes, but you lot will really yell at me if I go if I go more attacking when we're already leading against Juventus in the Champions League. But if it works, I'm a genius. I've got to stop doing things where the justification is, if it works, I'm a genius. That means, Kev, don't try it. Right, I'm not going to go more attacking. I'm just adjusting the formation. I think that's probably a decent compromise. I'm clicking on shouts again as if they've changed and I can do anything about it. If this guy gets sent off here, suddenly what I've just done makes sense. He hasn't been. I could have rewritten history and justified doing it if we were against 10 men and trying to go for the kill. Right, Vinicius, this is his first appearance of the season. Vinicius is in, and it goes just wide from Glauber Vinicius. Maybe should be looking to square that to Acosta there. Come on, boys. If we can grab a second goal here, we put Juventus under huge pressure in this second leg. At 1-0, I have great fear that history will repeat itself. We know we can narrowly beat Juventus at home. We know we can narrowly beat Juventus in Greece because we've done it 3 times now. Now we need to beat them outside of Greece, or at least not lose to them in the second leg. Second leg coming up, but first, further confirmation of the ongoing story of we don't get any good youth intake anymore. This is the latest youth intake. As you can see, the pick of the bunch is 2.5-star potential. We got a new head of youth development this summer. We have, just for clarification, state-of-the-art youth facilities, exceptional academy coaching, exceptional youth recruitment, and for the second year in a row, the best player to come through is 2.5-star potential. This is why I don't play any homegrown players. There aren't any. It's ridiculous. In other news, we have continued to win in the intervening games. 2 league games won. We won the semi-final first leg of the Greek Cup with a very rotated team. And this is what the league table looks like. So we should have the league wrapped up in our next game. So hopefully we'll beat Juventus or draw against Juventus now. And then we'll win the league and then continue a Champions League run and everyone will be happy. So, our team, Osman in goal, a back four of Kansarovic, Michaelis, Lawson and Felipao, Milo at the base in the midfield, Duffy and Cordoba ahead of him, Sanchez, Carnevale, Marola are the front 3. I think that might actually be the same team that played in the first leg. Bearing in mind we've had 3 games and huge rotation between now and then, I'm quite impressed we've managed to get this lot back together again. We're the underdogs. We're the underdogs here, and that suits us down to the ground. Let's go and cause an upset. I like that. I like that a lot. I've never seen that before. Is that always an option? Because we're often the underdogs, but normally the team talk is we're the underdogs. Let's not try get beat too hard. I like the fact that we've got let's go and cause an upset as an option because we are 1-0 up from the first leg. We've played Juventus, 4 times now before this game. We've beaten them 3 out of 4 times we've played them. Yes, this is only the second time we've played them at their place. Yes, the only other time they beat us. But we're not going to get bogged down in those kind of details. We've got Juventus's number and we've got an opportunity for a Champions League quarterfinal here, and it would be very pleasant if we could fulfill that opportunity. Hector Bellerin, by the way, came up on my scout reports. He's out of contract at the end of the season, and I was like, I was considering, in a world without Sension and as a homegrown European player, but we're not bringing in old men. I officially made the decision, not bringing in old men. Cordoba plays the ball forward. Carnevale couldn't quite get past his marker, but it falls back to Marola again. Duffy plays out to Felipao, who's got space to run into and options in the middle. Cross comes over for Sanchez, who's in again, but this time it goes over. I have to question how Juventus's goalkeeper is allowed to play in a black shirt with white trim when their outfield kit is black and white. That feels a little bit too like the main kit. Certainly if you look at it from the black side of those shirts, I can't work out who the goalkeeper is and who the outfield players are. But 38 minutes gone. It is Juventus with the highlight. They've only had 1 shot in this entire first half so far, and they missed. That was their first shot on target. We, on the other hand, have had 3 of our 8 shots have been on target. But Juventus are edging us ever so slightly for possession. No one's created a real good chance yet, though. And as far as I'm concerned, knowing that we only need to draw, I'm quite happy with no one creating a good chance. Marola plays it back to Duffy, who's got space to pick a pass, and we know he's got that in him, but plays it back to Milo instead. Kansarovic now on the left, back into Duffy, who again has been left in a huge amount of space, but once again elects for the easy option. Give it back to Duffy and tell him this time, play a killer pass. Carnevale's trying to do it on his own, goes past his man, but the ball goes high and possibly a little bit wide as well. Half-time approaches, and it is Juventus 0, Apollon 0. Keep another 45 minutes of that, and we're through. It's important more than ever to keep completely focused. Yeah, oh, there you go. That's motivated everybody as well. A calm, stay-focused team talk, and they're coming out for this second half with fire in their bellies, and hopefully a Champions League quarterfinal spot at the end of it. Marola battling here on the right-hand side, trying to come away with the ball. He's just relentlessly chasing down, trying to get hold of the ball there, but eventually Juventus took 3 players, but did come away with the ball for themselves, and they've played it all the way back to their goalkeeper. This is a very strange highlight that, worryingly, stuff like this usually ends in a goal, and Juventus are just knocking the ball around very comfortably. There's the killer pass that we've been waiting all half for Duffy to play in the first half. Luckily, Osman is an equal to it and pushes it around the post for a corner. Corner taken quickly. Osman flaps at it, but Kansarovic gets him out of jail. And now Carnevale with the chance for the counter-attack. He's not really got any support, although somebody's charging up the middle. I don't know who that is. Who is that? That's Sanchez. Was charging up the middle there to get on the other end of the pass from Carnevale, but unfortunately it didn't come. Sanchez now with the in-swinging corner, and Nikos Michaelis, the player who spent several years early on in his career playing in Serie A, has put us 1-0 up at Juventus. Juventus 0, Apollon 1 on the night, 2-0 to Apollon on aggregate. We have an away goal as well, and now with 40 minutes to go in this match, Juventus have a mountain to climb. They need 3 goals without reply to stay in this tournament. I am feeling rather splendid at the moment, boys and girls. And I'm looking down at that bench thinking, let's start freshening things up as well, because we've got some proper talent down on that bench as well in what is our best ever Apollon squad that doesn't even have Damien in it. We don't need Damien anymore. Who is this Damien we keep talking about? Duffy plays it to Felipao, who has replaced Sension without, I don't even notice he's gone. £50 million. We've not missed him even for a second. Kansarovic into Duffy. Duffy back to Milo again. Duffy's had a very quiet but efficient game. Marola now tries to do a Marola special, but it cannons back off the defender, off the ankles of the Juventus defender, and Felipao cuts inside. Sanchez is there, but his header loops up onto the top of the crossbar. In fact, it didn't even go down as a crossbar, so it's just gone into the netting atop the goal. Right, Cordoba is going to come off for Dominguez. And we're also going to bring on Acosta up front for Carnevale, and they will do as some early changes. We have gone back to the balanced mentality for today again. We were doing positive in the league, but trying to be sensible in the Champions League. Maybe balanced is the way to go. I can't. Oh, that's a terrible goal kick. It ended up with Marola, who paid it back into the path of Acosta, and Acosta, I think that's his first touch, and it would have been asking a lot for him to score with a chance like that for his first opportunity. He's not even had a chance to properly warm up yet. And it does go wide. But with 10 minutes to go, we are all but there. I'm going to get Calapitas on. Just experience. Lawson's not having the best of games. Calapitas has played more games for us than anybody else currently in this squad. He must be closing in on the all-time appearance record for the club in general. But certainly out of this group of players, Calapitas has more experience than anybody. So can't hurt to have him on for the final 10 minutes of a big game like this, even if it does mean sacrificing Ryan Lawson, which, of course, as we approach the end of this season, we have got to prepare for life without Ryan Lawson, because we're not going to be able to afford the £100 million plus that Manchester City want for him. And De Ligt has just got a goal back from Manchester City. Tell me I'm not going to regret taking Lawson off. I've just taken off my best defender in a Champions League knockout round game, and I'm feeling very nervous about it. 5 minutes to go. The comment section are never going to let me live this down. It made sense to bring Calapitas onto me, but it's now 2-1. Oh, ref, disallow it. Help me. Help me, referee. Has he disallowed it? He's disallowed. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Referee, somebody blow the final whistle. I don't want people to laugh at me in the comments. They get mean down there when I do dumb things. Duffy plays it into Sanchez. It's a terrible pass from Duffy, and it's going to put us under pressure again. 88 minutes on the clock. This is horrible now. I'm not enjoying myself anymore. Can we bring Ryan Lawson back on? There should be a cooling off period for substitutes, like there is when you buy car insurance. I demand a cooling off period. I've been misled. Oh, I think we're going to be all right. Oh, that was more stressful than it needed to be. Oh, my goodness. But we have come to Juventus. We've got the draw. We should have won, but we've got the draw. And now, talking of, we got £8 million for that. Oh, my word. £8 million. And now we move into the draw for the next round. This is completely uncharted territory for Apollon now, and is also going to do an incredible amount of good for our UEFA coefficients. There's your confirmation. We're now 30 games unbeaten in all competitions, which is a new club record. And now we're just waiting for the draws to take place. Let's just... Is that fella pal getting called up to Brazil for the first time? Let's get him on 45-minute instruction. And who was the other one who just got added? Tennessee? No. Some of these I'm happy for him to go and get game time, whereas some of them I don't want getting game time. And Lencina, we actually withdrew from the Argentina squad because he's not fit to play for us yet. I certainly don't want him off gallivanting, playing for Argentina and getting himself injured. But I think we should be about to get the draw. What I have noticed I've done is not rested my players, which I normally would. I just wanted to get straight ahead to the draw. So still in the competition, us, Inter, Liverpool, Man United, Borussia Dortmund, Lazio, whoever they are, Man City and Tottenham. I look at that and think if we don't get Lazio, we're done. Dortmund would be fun for Bozic. Tottenham would be fun to get revenge for the group stages. Anyone else batters us. But we've never been in the quarterfinal before, so it's fine for us to lose. Man City, Liverpool, good. One of them's out of the way. Tottenham, we'll take this. Inter. Borussia Dortmund, we'll take this. And we have got this. It's Borussia Dortmund, and we are away in the first leg, which is always a little bit of an advantage. Semi-final draw happening as well. It's us or Dortmund against Man City or Liverpool, and then Man United or Lazio against Tottenham or Inter. So we will be back tomorrow for Dortmund, by which point we should have won the Greek league. Unless something disastrous goes on, we'll be champions in one of these next two games. And then it's just both legs of Dortmund tomorrow. This feels like we're not going full circle yet, but Dortmund were the team who knocked us out in the Europa League in our first ever European campaign. They're third in the Bundesliga at the moment. We've beaten Leipzig. We've beaten Hertha. We've beaten somebody else. Who else have we played from Germany? Dortmund isn't unbeatable. It's going to be an interesting one. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.